In a world where celebrity weddings are more than just union celebrations but often grand spectacles of opulence, the recent extravagant wedding of Jeff Bezos and Lawrence Sanchez in Venice stirred not only the glitterati, but also some sharp critiques. The event, rumored to have cost around $50 million, was nothing short of lavish, with a guest list that read like a who's who of A-listers. Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Oprah Winfrey, and countless others were in attendance, and the wedding captured the attention of not only those present but also the broader public. However, while many celebrities and the public at large were enchanted by the glamorous event, one person who didn't seem to share the same level of admiration was Charlize Theron, the award-winning actress and philanthropist who made a surprise appearance at the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project (CTAOP) block party on June 28, 2025. During her speech at the event, which aimed to raise awareness about issues impacting young people in Africa, Theron dropped a bold, humorous remark about Bezos and Sanchez's wedding that quickly made headlines. With a sharp tongue and her usual wit, she quipped, "I think we might be the only people who did not get an invite to the Bezos wedding. But that's okay because they suck and we're cool," a statement that was met with applause from the audience, followed by her cheeky addition of, "Yeah, F asterisk 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 them." It wasn't just a light-hearted jab. It was a moment that caught the attention of people far beyond the audience at the event. Theron's off-the-cuff remarks served as both a comic relief and a larger social commentary on the disconnect between the ultra-wealthy and the majority of people who are struggling to make ends meet, particularly in light of the current global climate. While some might have brushed off her comment as just another celebrity taking a dig at a fellow wealthy figure, Theron's remark had layers that delved into deeper social and political issues that continue to affect millions across the globe. The irony of the wedding wasn't lost on her. After all, in a time when climate change, human rights abuses, and the very real effects of inequality are top concerns, having a $50 million wedding seemed almost like an absurd display of privilege. It's not just the price tag of the wedding that stirs controversy. It's the culture of excess that surrounds it. Many questioned why such an extravagant celebration of wealth was being flaunted while so many in the world are struggling with basic needs, be it due to poverty, the pandemic's aftermath, or ongoing conflicts in various parts of the globe. Critics, including some environmental groups, were quick to call out the irony of hosting such a wedding, pointing out the heavy carbon footprint that comes with flying in hundreds of guests on private jets and hosting a massive celebration in one of the world's most vulnerable cities, Venice. The wedding seemed to encapsulate everything that's wrong with how the ultra-wealthy operate. They flaunt their wealth, build ever more exclusive bubbles around themselves, and remain disconnected from the very real issues that impact the world's most vulnerable populations. For some, it was a clear example of the glaring economic divide that continues to grow, where billionaires like Bezos, who is the founder of Amazon, a company that has been both praised and criticized for its labor practices, seem to be worlds away from the average person struggling to make ends meet. But then came Theron's remark, which, in its humor, touched on a much larger truth. It wasn't just about Bezos not inviting her to his wedding. It was about the role that the rich play in perpetuating a system that benefits them while leaving the rest behind. Theron's humor was her way of saying, you may have the wedding of the century, but at the end of the day, your wealth doesn't exempt you from the societal issues that affect millions. She may have been joking about not being on the guest list, but her comment also highlighted how out of touch the ultra-wealthy can be with the struggles of everyday people. After all, it's hard to imagine someone like Bezos, who is worth hundreds of billions, ever fully understanding the plight of people in the most economically disadvantaged corners of the world. Theron's commentary wasn't just about taking a shot at Bezos. It was about bringing awareness to the fact that while the rich continue to build their empires, everyday people are left to fight for a more equitable world. The reality is that this wedding was a mere spectacle, a grand display of wealth and privilege while the world around us is crying out for change. Theron, who has long been an advocate for social justice, took that moment at the CTAOP block party to draw attention to the issues that matter most to her, issues that affect millions and demand immediate action. She quickly transitioned from making her quip about the wedding to a much more serious discussion about the dire state of global issues, particularly those facing young people in Africa. She spoke out passionately about the rollback of women's rights, which has been a growing trend in many parts of the world. She condemned harmful immigration policies that have been used to vilify migrants and refugees. She called out the dangers facing queer and trans communities, which are increasingly being persecuted in many nations. Theron also discussed the importance of raising awareness about gender-based violence, which continues to be a global epidemic. These are the issues that need our attention, not the glitzy weddings of billionaires. The truth of the matter is that while Bezos and Sanchez's wedding may have been a fairy tale for them, for many others, life is far from a fairy tale. And it's this stark contrast that Theron wasn't afraid to point out. Her humor wasn't just about mocking the wedding, it was about making sure people understood that there are much larger problems at play. As she called out the Trump administration's cuts to foreign aid programs, especially in the realm of HIV and AIDS, it became clear that Theron wasn't just making a joke, she was making a statement. She was using her platform to shine a light on the glaring contradictions between wealth and suffering, and she did so in a way that was both impactful and entertaining. The juxtaposition between the over-the-top wedding and the serious issues that Theron raised was intentional. It was a clever way of making her audience realize that while we're all distracted by the shiny objects, there are people suffering and fighting for their lives. Theron's comments served as a reminder that we need to be more conscious of where our attention is focused, especially when it comes to wealth and inequality. While Bezos and Sanchez were partying in Venice, the rest of the world was dealing with issues that demanded our attention, issues that cannot be ignored. But the most important thing that came out of Charlize Theron's remarks was the message that the rich and famous can't live in a bubble forever. Theron may have been joking about not being invited to Bezos' wedding, but in that same breath, she was calling out the hypocrisy of a system that allows billionaires to flaunt their wealth in the face of worldwide hardship. It was a moment of levity, but also a moment of reflection. A reminder that we, as a society, need to demand more from those who have the power to make change. We need to remind the rich and powerful that their success should not be a reason to ignore the suffering of others. Instead, it should be a call to action, a call to help those who need it most. In the end, Charlize Theron's comments weren't just about a wedding guest list. They were about the power dynamics in our world and how, even in jest, we can draw attention to the issues that need to be addressed. She used humor to remind us that while the rich throw extravagant weddings, we can't forget about the rest of the world and the urgent issues they face. It's a message that resonates far beyond the realm of celebrity gossip. It's a message that calls for real change, real action, and a more compassionate, just world. So the next time we see a $50 million wedding or another display of wealth that seems out of touch with reality, we need to remember the bigger picture. We need to remember the voices of people like Charlize Theron who use their platform not just for entertainment, but to speak truth to power and demand a better future for all. And if you agree with this perspective, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe for more. Celeb Scoop 24/7 will continue to bring you the hottest celebrity gossip, but we'll also make sure to keep the conversation real, bringing the issues that matter to the forefront of our discussions.